let you make a show.
So, Netflix and Meghan Markle are at war. You might think you've seen every celebrity scandal in Hollywood, but nothing quite prepared the industry for the chaos that exploded behind the scenes of With Love, Meghan Season 2. What started as a glitzy partnership has devolved into a mess so wild, even the most jaded insiders are whispering, "Did she really do that?" Let's rewind. Meghan Markle was handed an unprecedented level of creative control for the second season of her lifestyle series. Netflix, stung by accusations of being too controlling with their big names, decided to loosen the reins. Meghan was given a plush office, a handpicked team, and freedom to pitch ideas. On paper, it looked like a win-win. Netflix got their headline-grabbing Duchess. Meghan got her chance to shape her brand on a global stage. But Hollywood deals are never that simple. The ink was barely dry before things started to go sideways. Meghan, always one to chase the next viral moment, had her own playbook in mind, one that had nothing to do with the scripts Netflix approved. Instead of focusing on safe, stylish lifestyle content, she quietly assembled a parallel project, a viral social media empire designed to shock, surprise, and dominate the news cycle. Picture this: Meghan, surrounded by a circle of pregnant friends, rapping and dancing in a sunlit kitchen, the whole thing filmed for Instagram. Another day, it's the same crew, this time on the beach, bare feet in the sand, explicit hip-hop blaring, every moment engineered to set the internet on fire. The goal? To outdo her last viral pregnancy video, the one that had already made Netflix executives reach for the Advil. For Meghan, viral was the currency. For Netflix, it was a liability. The plot thickened when production delays stretched on for months. Meghan, frustrated, doubled down on her secret campaign. She mapped out a release schedule, recruited influencers to repost her clips, and even storyboarded how her viral videos could be woven into the official Netflix show without ever running it up the chain of command. It all might have worked if she hadn't been caught. The discovery happened almost by accident. When Meghan's office was cleared, ostensibly for a routine redesign, Netflix execs stumbled onto a goldmine of campaign notes, storyboards, and raw footage. The reality of what was going on hit like a thunderclap. These weren't harmless Instagram reels. They were the foundation of a shock campaign, a calculated push to force Netflix into either embracing her viral chaos or looking like the fun police. Netflix's reaction? Absolute panic. Both co-COS, Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos, rarely seen on the same side of any debate, came together to kill the rogue project. Legal was called in. Meghan's access to servers and editing suites was revoked. Lawyers fired off warning letters. And the message was unmistakable: not 1 second of that footage would ever see daylight on their platform. For Meghan, this was betrayal. She felt Netflix had handed her the keys to the creative kingdom, then yanked them away when she dared to use them. Rumors started circulating that she was preparing to sue for breach of contract, creative suppression, and, ironically, censorship. Her team began quietly drafting press releases, readying a narrative where Meghan was the visionary, Netflix the villain. Meanwhile, inside Netflix, the atmosphere was one of relief mixed with frustration. The last thing they needed was another Meghan Markle circus, especially after the backlash from her previous viral stunts. Executives were desperate to protect the brand from being reduced to tabloid fodder. The legal team worked overtime, not just to contain the footage, but to ensure nothing similar would happen again. But the damage was already done. Meghan's reputation in Hollywood, never exactly bulletproof, began to crumble in real time. Amazon, Paramount, Disney, all the big studios that once circled her like sharks at a feeding frenzy now wanted nothing to do with her. Insiders whispered that she was unmanageable, a walking PR disaster. Her Netflix deal, once seen as her ticket back to the A-list, now looked like her last chance at mainstream relevance. Behind the scenes, the situation kept spiraling. Meghan's secret operation wasn't some impulsive act. According to sources, she had everything planned down to the minute: release dates, music cues, influencer coordination, like a military campaign. If the videos went viral before Netflix could stop them, the company would be boxed in, forced to either embrace the chaos or face the wrath of Meghan's growing online army. But Netflix wasn't about to be outmaneuvered. They shut down everything. Deleted files, scrubbed servers, locked doors. Meghan's team was left scrambling, suddenly locked out of their own project. Tensions boiled over. Greg Peters, who'd never supported giving Meghan so much freedom, felt vindicated. Ted Sarandos, who'd once championed the partnership, started distancing himself. The entire executive suite closed ranks. As word of the drama leaked, Meghan shifted her strategy. Publicly, she painted the footage as playful, creative fun, nothing more than a few harmless videos. But privately, she seethed. To her, this was a showdown. Netflix versus Meghan Markle. She was determined not to back down, even if it meant burning the bridge behind her. And burn it she did. Meghan began preparing her exit, one not of quiet resignation, but of fireworks and fallout. Her legal team started crafting statements accusing Netflix of stifling her creativity and breaking promises. She wanted her departure to be a spectacle, something that could be spun into a new movement, the visionary artist held back by corporate suits. The industry, however, wasn't buying it. After high-profile failures at other studios, Meghan's Hollywood stock was already plummeting. Executives saw her as a risk not worth taking. Agents who once fought for her now avoided her calls. Studios passed on her pitches, describing them as self-centered and thin on substance. Even her fans were starting to lose interest. The Meghan Markle brand, once synonymous with elegance and reinvention, was now shorthand for chaos. Inside Netflix, the fallout was brutal. Editors were forced to comb through hours of footage, excising anything connected to Meghan's Roe campaign. The timeline for release shrank. What was supposed to be a breezy, aspirational series had turned into a desperate salvage job. Gone were the plans for Meghan to front the marketing push. Now, the focus shifted to aesthetics, the decor, the lifestyle, the vibe. Anything to downplay Meghan herself. The mood on set nosedived. Directors bristled at last-minute script changes. Scenes were rewritten or scrapped on the fly. Meghan herself became increasingly unreliable, missing call times or vanishing altogether, citing creative overwhelm. Exhausted producers whispered that the whole thing felt cursed. As the September release date loomed, Netflix entered full crisis mode. The show's marketing was overhauled. No more Meghan, the face of the brand. Now it was all about aspirational living, with Meghan nearly invisible in the promotional materials. The hope was simple: minimize the damage, salvage what could be salvaged, and move on. Meanwhile, rival executives at Paramount and Amazon watched the implosion with a degree of satisfaction. Months before, they'd passed on Meghan's ideas, quietly noting that her proposals revolved more around herself than the audience. Now, watching Netflix struggle, they felt vindicated. One exec even called it the bullet we dodged. Meghan, for her part, was undeterred. She began shopping herself around to smaller production companies and podcast networks, eager to find anyone willing to give her another chance. The offers, though, were a far cry from the glossy contracts she once commanded. Web series, low-budget collaborations, podcasts, nothing that could restore her to the A-list. Still, Meghan pressed on. Her strategy shifted from storytelling to spectacle. If she couldn't be the queen of Hollywood, she'd be its disruptor. Every public statement, every social media post became a calculated jab at the industry that had turned its back on her. Netflix, she insisted, had used her for publicity, then abandoned her at the first sign of trouble. But the old tricks were wearing thin. The media, once eager to lap up every twist in the Meghan saga, started to lose interest. Even her most devoted fans seemed weary of the constant drama. The narrative was no longer about a groundbreaking duchess fighting the system. It was about someone who kept creating her own messes and blaming everyone else for the fallout. As the dust settles, the lesson from the Meghan Markle/Netflix debacle is clear. Hollywood rewards those who know how to play the long game. Shock value can make you famous, but it can't make you last. Substance trumps spectacle. And in a town built on reinvention, even the brightest stars can burn out if they mistake attention for admiration. Netflix will recover. The show, in some form, will see the light of day. Meghan, meanwhile, faces a crossroads. She can keep chasing viral chaos, hoping controversy will keep her relevant. Or she can step back, regroup, and remember why she was given a platform in the first place. But if this saga proves anything, it's that in Hollywood, the story behind the scenes is always more compelling than the one on screen. And right now, Meghan Markle's off-camera drama is the hottest show in town,